You were never meant to be chosen." Those were the words that broke Amelia Carter's heart before the first snowflake touched the ground. The Silver Pine Pack gathered beneath the cold winter sky as the Omega stood quietly before the people she had always called family. She had spent years hoping for acceptance, believing that patience and kindness would eventually make others see her worth. But in that moment, she realized some people only saw the label placed upon her. Omega, weak, unimportant. Her mate, Logan Hayes, stood before the pack and looked away from her with a decision that changed everything. Amelia did not argue. She did not beg. She simply lowered her eyes, carrying the pain silently because she had always been taught that a gentle heart should never create more conflict. The snow covered the ground around her as she walked away from the only home she knew. Each step felt heavier than the last, but she refused to let bitterness take away the kindness she had protected for so long. Amelia had spent her entire life caring for others, helping injured pack members, preparing healing remedies, and offering comfort to those who needed it. Yet when she needed someone most, the world became quiet. The forest surrounding Silver Pine was vast and unfamiliar, with tall trees covered in white frost and a cold wind moving through the branches. Amelia knew she should turn back, but a part of her understood that returning would mean returning to the same place where she was never truly seen. Hours passed as she continued through the snowy landscape. The temperature dropped, and her strength slowly faded. She found a sheltered place beneath the trees and sat down, watching the snow fall around her. For the first time, she allowed herself to wonder if maybe everyone had been right. Maybe an Omega like her was never meant for anything greater. But deep inside, a small part of her still believed that kindness had meaning, even when no one recognized it. Then, through the silence of the winter night, she heard something move nearby. Amelia looked up and saw a figure standing between the trees. A large black wolf with eyes unlike any creature she had ever seen watched her from the shadows. It did not approach with anger. It did not see her as someone broken. It simply looked at her as if it understood every feeling she had hidden. Amelia remained still, unsure whether she should be afraid. But there was something different about this mysterious wolf. There was warmth in its presence, a quiet protection that made the endless cold feel less overwhelming. Slowly, the black wolf came closer and settled beside her in the snow. Amelia felt the strange comfort of no longer being alone. She did not know who this creature was. She did not know why a powerful wolf from the wilderness had chosen to stay beside an abandoned Omega. But for the first time that night, she felt something she had almost forgotten. She felt valued. Far away from the snowy forest, a kingdom waited for the return of its missing ruler. No one knew that the legendary Alpha King Ethan Blackwood was closer than anyone imagined. And no one knew that the mysterious black wolf beside Amelia was not a random guardian. It was the beginning of a destiny that would change both of their lives forever. The black wolf remained beside Amelia Carter throughout the quiet winter night, never leaving her alone beneath the frozen trees. When the first light of morning appeared over the snowy forest, Amelia slowly opened her eyes and realized something had changed. The cold that had surrounded her no longer felt unbearable. The mysterious creature beside her had stayed through the darkness, offering a sense of safety she had not felt in a long time. Amelia carefully looked at the wolf, still unsure why such a powerful animal had chosen to protect her. "Why did you stay?" she whispered softly. The wolf only watched her with calm, intelligent eyes, as if it understood the question but could not answer. Amelia had spent so much of her life being judged by others that she had forgotten what it felt like to be accepted without needing to prove herself. Yet this strange creature did not care about her status as an Omega. It did not know the rumors from Silver Pine Pack. It did not know the rejection that had followed her for years. It only saw her. As the day continued, the black wolf guided Amelia through the forest toward a hidden shelter between the mountains. The path was covered with fresh snow, and Amelia followed carefully, amazed by the way the creature seemed to understand exactly what she needed. The wolf moved slowly, always making sure she could keep up. There was patience in every step. For the first time in many years, Amelia felt that someone was considering her feelings instead of expecting her to adjust for everyone else. Inside the small mountain shelter, Amelia found warmth, fresh water, and enough space to rest. She wondered how a wild creature could create a place that felt more like home than anywhere she had ever lived. As she recovered, memories of Silverpine returned. She remembered the days when she prepared medicine for others, the times she comforted pack members who felt lost, and the moments when she smiled even though she felt invisible. She had always believed kindness was something worth protecting, but she had never expected kindness to return to her in such an unexpected way. Meanwhile, far from the snowy forest, Northvale Kingdom faced uncertainty. The people searched for their missing Alpha King, Ethan Blackwood. Few knew where he had gone or why he had left the palace without explanation. Ethan had always been known as a powerful ruler, a leader respected across every territory. But behind the image of the Alpha King was a man who carried a loneliness that no one understood. The ancient legends of his bloodline spoke of a connection that could only appear once in a lifetime, a bond that could not be controlled or predicted. Ethan had never believed those stories, until the night he found Amelia. Back in the mountains, Amelia noticed something unusual about the Black Wolf. It watched the horizon like it carried the weight of an entire kingdom. Its eyes held a depth that felt almost human. She reached out carefully, not to control the creature, but to show gratitude. The wolf lowered its head, accepting the simple gesture. Neither of them understood what was happening yet. Amelia only knew that the creature she had expected to fear was the first being that had made her feel safe. And the Black Wolf knew something she did not. The Omega who believed she had been forgotten was the very person destiny had been searching for. The days that followed brought a strange peace to Amelia Carter's life. For the first time, she was not surrounded by people who measured her worth by her Omega status. She was not forced to prove that she deserved kindness. In the quiet mountain shelter, she simply existed, and the mysterious Black Wolf accepted her exactly as she was. Each morning, the creature would wait patiently while Amelia gathered herbs and prepared simple remedies from the plants growing near the forest. She noticed that the wolf always stayed close, watching carefully but never demanding anything from her. There was a quiet understanding between them, something Amelia could not explain. She had spent so long feeling invisible that she almost forgot what it felt like to be noticed. One afternoon, as snow gently covered the mountains, Amelia sat near the shelter and looked at the Black Wolf. "You are different from every creature I have ever known," she said softly. The wolf looked at her with those deep, intelligent eyes. For a moment, Amelia felt as if the creature understood every word. She smiled slightly. "Maybe that is why I trust you." The Black Wolf remained beside her, calm and protective. But far away from the mountains, the people of Northvale Kingdom continued searching for their missing ruler. The absence of Alpha King Ethan Blackwood had created uncertainty throughout the royal court. Advisors wondered where their king had gone and why he had disappeared without explanation. Few people knew the truth. Ethan had left the palace because he needed answers about a feeling he could not ignore. For years, he had carried the responsibilities of the throne while keeping everyone at a distance. He was respected, admired, and feared by many, but very few people truly knew him. The legends of his family spoke of a rare destiny, a connection that would appear when the right person entered his life. Ethan had always considered those stories nothing more than old traditions, until he found Amelia alone in the snow. The memory of that night stayed with him. He remembered seeing the Omega who had been abandoned by the people around her, yet she still held compassion in her heart. Even in her weakest moment, she had not shown anger or hatred. That was something Ethan could not understand. Back in the mountains, Amelia began noticing small details about the Black Wolf. The creature moved with unusual grace. It seemed to understand human emotions better than most people she had known. Sometimes, when Amelia spoke about her past, the wolf would become completely still, as if sharing the weight of her memories. She never felt judged. She never felt like a burden. One evening, while the sky turned shades of silver and blue, Amelia watched the wolf sitting near the entrance of the shelter. "I do not know who you are," she whispered, "but I hope you know that I am grateful." The wolf looked back at her, and for a brief moment, something about its expression felt almost familiar. Amelia could not explain why. She did not know that the mysterious guardian beside her was connected to a world far beyond the forest. She did not know that the creature protecting her carried the soul of a king. And she did not know that the Alpha King who had disappeared from his throne had found the one person who could change everything. The snow continued to fall over the mountains, hiding secrets that destiny was slowly preparing to reveal. The quiet days in the mountains continued, and Amelia Carter slowly began to feel like she had discovered a place where she could finally breathe. The world outside still believed she was an abandoned Omega with no future, but the black wolf beside her saw something different. Every morning, the creature waited near the shelter as Amelia gathered herbs, prepared remedies, and cared for the small signs of life hidden beneath the winter snow. She found comfort in the simple routine. There were no judgmental voices, no whispers about her being unwanted, no one telling her that she was not enough. Only silence, nature, and the mysterious guardian who never left her side. But Amelia could not ignore the questions growing in her mind. The black wolf was unlike any animal she had ever encountered. It seemed to understand her emotions before she even spoke. It knew when she felt tired. It knew when memories of Silverpine became too painful. And somehow, it always reminded her that she was not alone. One evening, as the sun disappeared behind the snowy mountains, Amelia noticed something unusual. The wolf stood at the edge of the forest, looking toward the distant horizon. There was a sadness in its eyes, a feeling she recognized because she had carried it herself for years. "You miss something too, don't you?" Amelia whispered. The wolf slowly turned toward her. For a moment, neither of them moved. It was as if two lonely souls understood each other without needing words. Meanwhile, far beyond the mountains, Northvale Kingdom grew more concerned about the disappearance of Alpha King Ethan Blackwood. The Royal Council searched for answers, but only a few knew about the secret he carried. Ethan had not abandoned his kingdom. He had followed a mysterious pull he could not explain. Something had drawn him away from the palace and toward the frozen wilderness. Deep within himself, Ethan knew the feeling was connected to the Omega he had found in the snow. He had spent his entire life believing that a ruler must remain distant. A king could not allow emotions to guide his decisions. But Amelia had changed something inside him. She had shown him a kind of strength he had never seen before. A strength that came from compassion instead of power. Back in the mountain shelter, Amelia discovered an old mark carved into a stone near the entrance. The symbol was unfamiliar, but something about it felt important. The black wolf approached and stood beside her, watching the symbol carefully. Amelia looked at the creature with curiosity. "Do you know what this means?" she asked. The wolf remained silent, but its expression changed. For the first time, Amelia sensed that the mystery surrounding her guardian was deeper than she imagined. That night, while resting beside the warmth of the shelter, Amelia dreamed of a great hall filled with light, a throne surrounded by silver banners, and a man standing alone beneath the weight of a crown. She did not know why the image felt familiar. She did not know why her heart felt connected to someone she had never met. When she woke, the black wolf was watching over her as always. But something was different. The distance between them felt smaller, as if an invisible connection was slowly revealing itself. Amelia still did not know the truth. She did not know that the creature protecting her was the most powerful alpha in the land. She did not know that the lonely figure from her dream was real. And she did not know that the moment of revelation was closer than ever. The morning after Amelia Carter's mysterious dream, the mountain forest felt different. The same snow-covered trees surrounded her, and the same quiet wind moved through the branches, but something inside her had changed. She could no longer see the black wolf as only a guardian from the wilderness. She felt a connection that was impossible to explain, a feeling that this creature had entered her life for a reason. The black wolf remained near her as always, watching carefully while she prepared herbs and gathered supplies around the shelter. Amelia noticed that the creature seemed more thoughtful than usual, almost as if it was carrying a difficult decision. "You are hiding something from me," she said softly. The wolf looked away for a moment, and Amelia smiled gently. "That is all right. Everyone has secrets." Her words carried more meaning than she realized. She understood what it felt like to hide parts of yourself because you feared others would not accept you. Far away from the mountains, Ethan Blackwood stood inside the empty halls of Northvale Palace, looking at the place he had ruled for many years. The kingdom needed its alpha king, but Ethan felt that something more important had brought him away from the throne. He thought about Amelia constantly. He remembered the way she looked at him without fear. She had not seen him as a powerful ruler. She had only seen someone who stayed beside her when she needed help. That simple kindness affected him more than he expected. Ethan had spent years surrounded by people who respected his title, but very few people who understood him. Amelia was different. She did not want anything from him. She did not know his power or his position. She only knew the person she met in the snow. In the mountains, Amelia began exploring the area around the shelter. She discovered old paths hidden beneath the snow and ancient symbols carved into stones. The markings appeared connected to legends she had heard as a child. Stories about powerful alpha bloodlines. Stories about destiny and bonds that could change the future. She never believed those stories before, but standing beside the Black Wolf made her question everything she thought she knew. One afternoon, a storm moved through the mountains, and Amelia returned to the shelter with fewer supplies than expected. The Black Wolf immediately noticed her tired expression and stayed close while she rested. Amelia looked at the creature and felt tears forming in her eyes, not from sadness, but from gratitude. "I thought I was completely alone," she whispered. "But you stayed." The wolf lowered its head, and for a brief moment, Amelia felt a warmth that reached beyond words. She felt like someone was telling her that she mattered. That evening, as the fire inside the shelter slowly faded, Amelia noticed something unusual. The Black Wolf looked toward the stars with an expression filled with memories. She wondered what kind of life this creature had lived. What journey had brought it here? What reason could there be for such a powerful being to protect someone like her? She did not know the answers yet, but she was beginning to understand something important. The world had convinced her that she was forgotten. Yet the mysterious Black Wolf had found her in the darkest moment of her life. And somewhere beyond the mountains, the Alpha King who carried the heart of that wolf was preparing to return. The truth that connected them was no longer hidden forever. The first signs of change arrived with the morning light over the snowy mountains. Amelia Carter noticed it before she understood it. The Black Wolf that had stayed beside her for so long seemed different, not because of its appearance, but because of the emotions she could sense from it. There was a quiet sadness in its eyes, a feeling that reminded her of the loneliness she had carried for years. She had always believed that being an Omega meant she had to accept whatever place others gave her. But this mysterious guardian had shown her something she never expected. She was worth protecting. She was worth staying for. As the days passed, Amelia became stronger. She continued gathering herbs, caring for the small plants that survived beneath the winter snow, and creating remedies from the knowledge she had spent years developing. The Black Wolf watched her with silent admiration. It seemed almost surprised that someone who had experienced rejection could still choose kindness. Amelia never spoke with hatred about those who abandoned her. She only wished they had seen her differently. Far away from the mountains, Ethan Blackwood prepared to return to Northvale Kingdom. His advisors had been waiting for their Alpha King, but Ethan needed one more moment to understand the connection that had changed everything. He stood alone near the edge of the forest, remembering the night he found Amelia. He remembered the way she looked at him, unaware of his identity, unaware that the creature beside her carried the power of a king. For the first time in his life, Ethan felt seen for who he truly was. Not as a ruler, not as a symbol, simply as himself. When Ethan finally returned to the mountains, he knew he could no longer hide the truth forever. The bond between him and Amelia had grown stronger with every passing day, and he needed to understand what destiny was trying to reveal. One evening, as the snow began to fall again, Amelia noticed the Black Wolf standing farther away than usual. She felt a strange sense of worry. "Are you leaving?" she asked quietly. The wolf looked back at her, and something in its expression made her heart ache. She had lost people before. She knew what it felt like when someone chose to walk away. But this time, she did not want to lose the first companion who had accepted her without conditions. The Black Wolf slowly approached and stayed beside her. Amelia placed her hand gently against its fur, grateful for the silent promise that it would not leave her alone. Neither of them knew that the moment they shared was about to change their lives forever. That night, beneath the endless winter sky, the ancient connection between them awakened. The air around the forest felt different, as if the world itself recognized something that had been hidden for a long time. Amelia did not understand why her heart felt connected to a creature she had only recently met. She did not know why the Black Wolf felt less like a stranger and more like someone she had known forever. Meanwhile, the people of Northvale Kingdom prepared for the return of their Alpha King. They did not know where he had been or what secret he carried back with him. They did not know that their ruler had discovered the person who would change his future. And they did not know that the abandoned Omega from Silverpine Pack was about to become the most important person in the kingdom. The truth was approaching. The identity of the Black Wolf would soon be revealed, and Amelia would finally learn that the creature who saved her was connected to a destiny far greater than she ever imagined. The morning after the strange feeling that filled the snowy forest, Amelia Carter woke with a sense that something important was approaching. The Black Wolf remained beside the shelter, but there was a quiet change between them. The connection they shared had grown stronger, and Amelia could feel that the creature was carrying a secret it had protected for a long time. She looked at the wolf and wondered how a being from the wilderness could understand her better than the people who had known her entire life. She had been rejected by her mate, forgotten by her pack, and left to believe she had no place in the world. Yet this mysterious guardian had shown her the opposite. She mattered. She was not invisible. That realization changed something inside her. Later that day, Amelia followed the Black Wolf through the forest. The path led her deeper into the mountains, where ancient stone structures stood hidden beneath layers of snow. She had never seen anything like them before. The markings on the stones matched the symbols she had discovered near the shelter. They seemed connected to old legends about powerful alpha, bloodlines, and the mysterious bonds that shaped their destinies. Amelia carefully studied the symbols, feeling a strange familiarity she could not explain. The Black Wolf stood beside her, watching quietly. It was as if it had brought her here because she was finally ready to discover the truth. Meanwhile, Ethan Blackwood returned to the edge of Northvale Kingdom. The moment he stepped into familiar territory, the weight of his crown returned. His people welcomed their Alpha King, but Ethan felt different. He was no longer the same man who had left the palace. Before meeting Amelia, he believed his role required him to remain distant from everyone. He believed emotions created weakness, but the Omega in the snow had shown him a different kind of strength. She had faced rejection and loneliness, yet she still chose compassion. Ethan knew he could not continue hiding from the truth. The connection between him and Amelia was not something he could ignore. That evening, Ethan returned to the mountains as the Black Wolf once again. When Amelia saw the creature approaching, she immediately felt a sense of relief. She had not realized how much she had come to depend on its presence. But this time, something was different. The air around them felt heavier with an unspoken truth. Amelia watched as the Black Wolf stepped closer, and for a moment, the world around them seemed completely still. Then the impossible happened. The mysterious guardian she had trusted began revealing the secret it had carried from the beginning. Amelia stood frozen, unable to understand what she was seeing. The creature that had protected her through the coldest nights was not just a powerful wolf from the mountains. It was connected to a world of kings, legends, and destiny. The truth she had never imagined was finally coming closer. The Black Wolf was not a stranger. It was someone who had been searching for her long before she knew his name. And when Amelia finally learned who had been beside her all along, she would discover that the person who saved her was the last person she ever expected. The truth Amelia Carter had been waiting for finally stood before her beneath the quiet winter sky. The Black Wolf that had protected her through the coldest nights was not a mysterious creature from the mountains. It was Ethan Blackwood, the Alpha King of Northvale Kingdom. Amelia stared in disbelief, trying to understand how the gentle guardian who stayed beside her in her darkest moment could also be the ruler everyone respected and admired. Ethan did not approach her as a king demanding loyalty. He stood before her as the same presence she had trusted since the night they met. "I wanted to tell you sooner," Ethan said softly, "but I needed to know that you trusted me for who I was, not for the title I carried." Amelia looked at him, remembering every moment they had shared. She remembered how the Black Wolf stayed beside her when she felt forgotten. She remembered how it never judged her or asked her to prove her worth. Slowly, she realized that nothing about those moments had been false. The kindness was real. The protection was real. The connection between them was real. Ethan explained that his transformation into the Black Wolf was a secret known only to a few people. For years, he had carried the responsibility of being Alpha King while hiding the part of himself that felt most honest. As a wolf, he was not surrounded by expectations. He was not seen as a symbol of power. He was simply himself. Amelia listened quietly, understanding his words because she knew what it felt like to hide parts of yourself from the world. "You saved me when everyone else walked away," she said. "But you never looked at me like someone who needed saving. You looked at me like someone who mattered." Those words stayed with Ethan. No one had ever spoken to him that way. Most people saw the crown before they saw the person. But Amelia had met the man before she ever knew the king existed. Their connection was not built on status or power. It was built on trust. As they returned from the mountains, Ethan and Amelia traveled toward Northvale Palace together. The journey felt different now. Amelia was no longer following a mysterious wolf into the unknown. She was walking beside someone who had become important to her. When they arrived at the palace, the kingdom was surprised to see their missing Alpha King return with an Omega they had never heard of before. Whispers moved through the halls as people wondered who Amelia was and why Ethan had chosen to bring her back. Amelia felt the old fear returning for a moment. She remembered Silverpine. She remembered being judged before anyone knew her heart. But this time, she was not alone. Ethan noticed her hesitation and quietly reminded her, "You do not need to become someone else to belong here." Those words gave her strength. For the first time, Amelia entered a place of power without feeling small. She was still the same Omega who cared for others, but now she understood that gentleness was not something to hide. Across Northvale Kingdom, people began asking questions about the Omega who returned with their Alpha King. They did not know her story yet. They did not know what she had endured or how much courage she carried. But soon they would learn that the person they overlooked was the person who had changed their king forever. The return of Ethan Blackwood and Amelia Carter marked the beginning of a new chapter for Northvale Kingdom. The palace that once felt distant and cold slowly began to change as people discovered the truth behind the mysterious Omega who had returned with their Alpha King. Amelia expected judgment when she entered the royal halls, but she soon realized that the kindness she had always shown to others was beginning to return to her. The servants noticed her gentle nature. The healers valued her knowledge. Even those who were uncertain about her presence began to understand that she was not someone seeking attention or power. She was simply someone who cared. Ethan watched these changes with quiet pride. He had spent years believing that a strong ruler had to stand alone, but Amelia had shown him that true leadership came from understanding the people around him. She never tried to change the kingdom for her own benefit. She only wanted to help others feel seen, just as she had always wished someone had seen her. One day, the royal council gathered to discuss the future of Northvale Kingdom. Some members still questioned whether an Omega who had once been rejected could truly stand beside the Alpha King. Amelia felt the familiar weight of those doubts, but this time she did not let them define her. She remembered the girl who walked into the snow believing she had lost everything. She remembered the black wolf who stayed beside her when she felt forgotten. She remembered the truth she had learned along the way. Her value had never depended on someone else choosing her. Ethan stood beside her, but he did not speak for her. He knew Amelia had found her own voice. When she finally addressed the council, she did not speak with anger or bitterness. She spoke with honesty. She shared her experiences, her hopes for the kingdom, and her belief that everyone deserved to be treated with respect regardless of their position. The room became quiet as people listened. For the first time, many saw Amelia not as an Omega label, but as a person with wisdom and compassion. After the meeting, Ethan and Amelia returned to the palace gardens where their journey had truly begun. The flowers that Amelia had once imagined caring for in the mountains reminded her of everything she had survived. Ethan looked at the peaceful kingdom beyond the garden walls. "You changed more than you realize," he said. Amelia smiled softly. "I think we both did." Ethan understood what she meant. Before Amelia, he had been a king surrounded by people, but understood by very few. Before Ethan, Amelia had been a kind soul who believed she had no place in the world. Together, they discovered that destiny was not about finding someone perfect. It was about finding someone who allowed you to become your truest self. Years later, the people of Northvale would tell stories about the Alpha King and the Omega who changed the kingdom. They would remember the ruler who learned that compassion was strength. They would remember the woman who proved that being gentle did not mean being weak. And they would remember the mysterious black wolf who appeared in the snow, not as a legend of power, but as a symbol of hope. Because sometimes the person the world chooses to overlook is the very person destiny has been protecting all along.